Yo guys, welcome back to another reaction. Today we're going to be reacting to the all UCN voice lines with subtitles. So I have not played UCN yet, but I heard that it's very hard. Probably one of the most hardest games in the series. But yeah, today we're going to be looking at some of the voice lines. And this is done by J Cinema, so check out the original creator, J Cinema. Link will be down in the description down below. And yeah, let's not waste any time and get straight into the reaction.
Never underestimate the cunning of a pirate. Or a fox, for that matter. You never stood a chance. I came for ye booty. That be treasure, you know. I can't run like I used to, but I can pull myself apart just fine. So much more spacious in here. I may stay a while.
That game was totally rigged. That's what you get for leaving me hanging. It's not my fault. I have these fat plastic fingers and can't press the buttons, Mr. Huck.
So, I'm guessing Toy Freddy's like a gamer or some sort.
Got me again.
Because he said, it's not my fault. Yeah, if I get jump scared, you get jump scared. And possibly a Five Nights at Freddy's game. And he said he has these big plastic fingers, then you can't press the buttons. My best guess is
you get jump scared.
You won't get tired of dying, will you? Where's my beak? Lodged in your forehead, of course. You won't get tired of my voice, will you? Let's go somewhere more private.
Will do, Toy Chica.
So I can eat you.
Is it weird that I was turned on that? What? I can't hear that.
Somewhere more private. So I can eat you. Don't be afraid. Soon you will look just like me. Beautiful. Now I get to play take apart and put back together. You won't feel a thing. I wanted to wait until just the right moment to drop in. It's so much more fun hanging out in here with you.
I did not like Mangle hanging from the ceiling in one of my live streams of FNAF 2.
He's here and always watching. The one you shouldn't have killed.
When you should have killed Cassie?
I never thought I'd make it through that vent, but now we are together. Let me show you how to break your face and look like me. I was the first. I have seen everything. Come closer. Let's smile together. I have seen him, the one you shouldn't have killed.
The one you should have killed. So I guess we definitely play as William in this game because he's the only one who's killed any killed children besides Michael, and he's only killed his little brother. So for what I know,
might as well face the facts. You were always destined to fail. You blinked. Why is this new prison? Is it me trapped, or is it you? Perhaps it's us both. I may be missing my face, but even I could see it come.
Seeing you powerless is like music
is that supposed to be Charlie's actual voice?
to me. I don't
So that
hate
makes
you,
sense.
but you need to stay out of my way. I recognize you, but I'm not afraid of you. Not anymore. The others are under my protection. The others are like animals, but I am very aware.
Okay, so they just kill off of instinct. Okay.
I am remade, but not by you, by the one you should not have killed.
Okay, so I'm guessing in FNAF 4 they were just hallucinations, but now they are remade, like with flesh and stuff.
No
Well, like not like with flesh, but like they're like real this time.
light can save you now. I have always been hiding in your shadow. What a gift to relish, a victim that can't perish.
Okay, so I'm guessing in this game that you can't die since he said a victim that can't relish, or a victim to relish of, or no, what did he say?
Has been hiding in your shadow.
What a gift to relish, a victim that
What a
can't
gift
perish.
to relish, a victim that can't perish. I am given flesh to be your tormentor.
Come closer.
Jesus
Count my
Christ!
teeth.
What the frick is that?
You're not so big. Just a bite-sized morsel. You knew I'd get you eventually. There just isn't
Oh
room
wait,
in
is
here
this
for...
the guy from that one VR part, that one game in the VR? It was, I think it was Nightmare Baby or something.
Both of us.
I'm guessing Nightmare Baby because it was like a fun with plush tribe type of game, but with Balloon Boy, and it looked nightmarish. So
Flash that light on the light. It can't save you now.
Let me put you back together, then take you apart all over again. Let's see how many times you can be pulled apart. I assure you, I am very real.
okay, so that
This
does
time,
reassure that before they were just hallucinations, but now they're real.
there's more than an illusion to fear.
Yeah.
We know who our friends are, and you are not one of them.
And that also hints more that this is not one of their friends. So I'm guessing it's Afton. Just because he said that they know what their friends are. We are not one of them. You will not be spared. You will not be saved.
What is left of you? I will vomit you back to relieve your horror.
Did things get really hot in here, or is it just me?
I don't think I've seen this Nightmare animatronic before.
Fire within me burns eternal, and now you shall as well. I am a burning
It looks
reminder
like a
of your
Halloween
destiny.
Nightmare Chica.
Greetings from the fire, and from the one you should not have killed.
They're referencing Cassie a lot here, aren't they?
Wake from. This time, death cannot save you.
Damn.
Nightmare is just beginning. Let's taste death.
Jesus. Jesus.
In the fearful reflection of what you have created.
Oh, okay, so they are just the dark versions of their... Hey, knock it off! They're just the darker versions of their original counterparts.
Seems you couldn't make it to my show, so I brought the show to you. Show times are on the hour, not a moment before and not a moment later. It's time to take your final bow. I'm sorry, but there was never enough room on this stage for both of us.
Okay,
A
so
performance was demanded of me,
so
and
he's
now...
like a, he's like a they're all performers. He's like a comedian or something?
I have delivered. Encore!
I could hear you breathing. Admit it, you wanted to let me in. Why do you hide inside these walls? Don't be shy. These are strange circumstances that have brought us together.
I bet you weren't expecting me, were ya? Turn your back for 1 second and I'm like,
This is the
ninja skills.
Joyful Frog or
You and
something,
I don't
whatever
get to
her
talk
name
as
is.
often as I'd like. Everyone underestimates me, but then they turn their back and I'm like, boo, and they're like, what? Move over, Freddy Fazbear. Happy Frog is the
Okay,
new
Happy
star
Frog.
of the show. We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest.
That just went from 0 to 100 real freaking quick. Wait, what the frick was that? I heard a tiny, childish voice at the end.
Just begun. I will never let you leave.
What the
I will
frick was
never
that?
let you rest.
Yeah, is it just to never let you rest? Speech 1? What?
My friend, you
Jesus Christ, Mr. Hippo! This is a humongous freaking paragraph.
That's a terrible, terrible demise.
What the frick?
But, I don't feel too bad about it. After all, if it weren't from me, it would have just been from someone else, you know? I guess what I'm trying to say is life goes on. Well, for everyone else, life goes on, not for you.
This is like
you're
10
dead.
minutes of one
That's neither
voice
here nor
line.
there. It reminds me of one summer day in the park. I was having just a delightful picnic with my good friend Orville. And I said to him, Orville, I have a story. And he said to me, what's the significance of the story? And I said to him, Orville, not every story has to have significance, you know? Sometimes a story is just a story. You try to read into every little thing and find meaning in everything anyone says, you'll just drive yourself crazy. I had a friend do it once. Wasn't pretty. We talked about it for years. And not only that, but you'll likely end up believing something you shouldn't believe and thinking something you shouldn't think, or assuming something you shouldn't assume, you know? Sometimes, I said, a story is just a story. So just be quiet for 1 second of your life and eat your sandwich, okay? Of course, it was only then I realized I made sandwiches, and poor Orville was having such difficulty eating it. Elephants have those clumsy hands, you know? Actually, I suppose that's the problem. They don't have hands at all, do they? They're all feet. I couldn't imagine someone asking me to eat a sandwich with my feet. Now, if I recall correctly, there was a bakery nearby. I said to him, Orville, let me go get you some rye bread. Now, I'm unsure if elephants enjoy rye bread, but I assure you that Orville does. Now, this was on a Tuesday, which was good because rye bread was always fresh on Tuesday. They made sourdough bread on Monday and threw it out Wednesday, or rather they sold it at a discount for people wanting to feed the ducks, and then probably at the end of the day, finally they threw it all out. I don't recall. I do remember a man who would bring his son to the bakery every Wednesday and then go feed the ducks.
Okay, it's fine.
He would buy all of the
almost
sourdough bread. Of course, you're not supposed to feed the ducks sourdough bread at all. It swells up in their stomach and then they all die. At least that's what I've heard. You know, I never saw any ducks die myself, but I did notice a substantial decrease in the duck population over the course of a few years. I just never thought to stop the man and tell him that he was killing the ducks by feeding them sourdough bread. And if you want my opinion on the matter, and I told Orville this as well, if you want to feed ducks, or birds, or any kind for that matter, it's best to buy seed. I mean, when you think about it, breads of any sort don't occur in nature. They don't grow on trees or spring up from the bushes.
True.
I don't think birds know what to do with bread. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So I bought Orville some rye bread. what a fine day it was.
Like from wheat. Speech 2.
It seems that you have met your end. What a pity.
How many freaking speeches does this
I don't
guy
feel too
have?
bad about it, though. After all, if it weren't me, it would have just been one of the others, I guess. I'm honestly just glad to be out of those air ducts. You know, it's not easy for a hippopotamus to fit up there, and not easy to get down either, and not as young as I used to be, as you can see. I used to be able to do all sorts of things. You're young, you're vibrant,
And yeah,
you
you're
have
a
that
hippo,
sort of pep in your step. It reminds me of a conversation I was having with one of my good friends, Orville. We were having a nice picnic one day. I believe it was summer. No, perhaps it was... Was it the fall? Yes. It was the fall because the leaves had turned already. But I said to Orville, I says, Orville, I have a story to tell you. And Orville looked at me, kind of odd and said, well, what's it about? I said to him, not every story has to be about something, Orville. Sometimes a person just wants to talk. Why does everything have to be a story? I said to him. He just looked at me and he said, well, you said you had a story. And, he was quite right. I did, in fact. I told him I had a story. I suppose if a person just wants to talk, then it's best to not announce that you're telling a story. Telling a story does come with its own pressures and expectations, I suppose. After all, if you're just talking to a friend, then there's no more expectations than if you were talking into the wind. Words by themselves aren't expected to carry, aren't expected to stick. But if you announce you're telling a story, well then, there'd better be a point to it all, No one wants to sit and listen to someone ramble on and on and on with absolutely
Don't know
no
what
end
that
in
sounds
sight.
like. Or
So,
feels like.
it's good to be mindful that when you tell someone that you're about to tell, that you have something to say. Telling someone that you're going to tell them a story is tantamount to asking them to stop what they're doing and pay attention.
Yeah. True.
You're basically saying, hey, buddy, stop everything. Stop what you're thinking. I have a solution to everything. And, well, I didn't really have any story to tell. In hindsight, I probably just misspoke when I said that I had a story. I think it would have just been better to tell Orville that I wanted to tell him something rather than tell him that I had a story. But even then, it might have put too much importance on the whole thing. Either way, it was quite a nice day. I remember that we were drinking tea.
Speech 3? How many freaking speeches are there?
It seems that your journey has ended. Very sorry about that. It was always going to end this way, of course. If it weren't by me,
There's still more left.
it would have just been by some other, terrible thing. Just, you could not imagine how terrible it would be. Just, I get scared thinking about it. Glad it's not me. It reminds me of a time I was speaking to my good friend Orville. We were sitting on a park bench watching the pigeons. I was on the left, he was on the... Wait, was I on the right or left? Anyways, it doesn't matter. We were sitting on there watching the pigeons. And I said to Orville, friend, those birds are frozen. And he kind of looked at me like I'd lost my mind. But I reminded him that it was winter, and often birds will sit in a tree until they freeze. And then they sort of fall to the ground until the sun warms up and they can, move around again. So I said to Orville, you might as well save those breadcrumbs until the birds thaw, because they can't very well enjoy them in the condition they're in. To which he asked what I meant, and asking what condition the crumbs should be in before he threw them to the birds, assuming that I meant the birds couldn't enjoy the breadcrumbs in the condition that the crumbs were in, when in fact I had meant the birds could not enjoy them in the condition that the birds were in, considering that the birds were frozen.
Okay, so the birds were frozen.
So he took a moment and then threw his last handful onto the ground. I said to him, Orville, why did you throw the breadcrumbs to the birds when I just told you they're frozen? To which he responded, the breadcrumbs are not frozen. Again, misunderstanding my words. I didn't mean to say that the breadcrumbs were frozen when I said I told you they're frozen. I'd been referring to the birds. You know, in hindsight, what I should have said was, and this would make perfect sense, why did you throw the breadcrumbs to the birds when the birds are frozen? He misunderstood upon my correction, stating that he didn't know what else to do with the breadcrumbs, and that perhaps, when the birds thawed, they'd still be able to eat the crumbs. So I said to Orville, and this is what I said to him, I said, Orville, the birds may be dead.
Yeah. Speech 4? Are you serious?
It seems that you have met a horrible demise, my friend. But, these things happen, and life goes on. Not for you, obviously. You're dead. But it reminds me of a time I was having a conversation with my friend Orville. We were, where were we? I think we were by the river. We were sitting by the river and watching the fish leap over the falls. And I said to Orville, sometimes I feel like a fish leaping over and over again, always trying to get somewhere, though I don't know where, only to find myself in the jaws of a beast. He, of course, looked at me, surprised, Have you been in the jaws of a beast, friend? To which I said, no, of course not, Orville. I said, no. I simply meant that life can seem like a relentless endeavor to overcome meaningless obstacles, only to meet an equally meaningless fate regardless of your efforts, regardless of the obstacles you've passed. And Orville, he stood and proceeded to drape me with a picnic cloth, to which I asked him, I said, Friend, what are you doing? He looked at me very concerned, really. I feel like you've gotten too much sun. Indeed, indeed I had. He proceeded to pour me a glass of just ice-cold lemonade.
You're a robot, so how does that work?
You ever mix it with iced tea? You do like a little half lemonade, half... Oh, it's so... You should try it some. Well, you can't because you're dead. But anyways, so you may be asking yourself, how did I go from sitting by the falls and drinking lemonade to being wedged in the air duct? Not only with Orville, but with an entire assortment of fruity-colored friends. Well, there's really no good answer to that, but perhaps I met a demise of my own at some point, and this is my afterlife or my dream, whatever it might mean. I honestly don't know. Or maybe it doesn't mean anything at all. Maybe it doesn't mean anything at all.
I consider it a dignified death. Not really. It was actually quite pathetic.
But we're now past all. Now we're past all the Mr. Hippo stuff. Finally.
If you sit by the river long enough, you will see the body of your enemy float by. Even monkeys fall from trees. The nail that sticks out gets hammered down. The talented hawk hides his claws.
Don't you hate getting killed by obscure secondary characters? Stranger danger! I was just waiting for you to drop your guard. Whoops, that's gonna leave a mark. This is how it feels, and you get to experience it over and over and over again.
I hear the freaking childish voice. What the frig is that?
Forever. I will never let you leave.
Honestly, it shouldn't be that point.
What did you think of my act? I don't get out much, so you'll have to forgive my enthusiasm. I hope you enjoyed the grand finale. Now is my time to shine. He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not going to let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here. No matter how many times they burn us.
Please deposit 5 coins.
No.
Please deposit 5 coins.
Why should I?
You are attempting to trick Freddy. You are attempting to...
Freddy doesn't like this. Please deposit 5 coins.
I don't have 5 coins.
Why so blue? You know I'll be true, and now I'll make slippers out of you.
So is he like a poet or something?
So good to see you again, my truest friend. But now your life must end. What a fine day to come here and say that your face and flesh I must play. What a treat to come here and meet your face as it hits concrete. I found my guitar, now reach for the stars as I plunge it through your heart.
That's right! And don't you come back now, you hear? That'll teach you for trying to trick this old bird.
I didn't know this
Thought
guy
you
could
could
even
fool
talk.
me with that sign, but I was too smart for you. I may not like wet floors, but the smell of fresh meat is just too enticing.
What kind of meat are you talking about?
Whoops! Looks like you're the one that slipped up this time.
Yar, what can I do for ya? Yarg, how may I be of service to ya?
So is Foxy like a helper out inside this game?
Yar, who touched me bird? Yar, me bird likes you. So I'll do ye a favor.
So that's awesome because I love
Yarg,
Foxy.
you win some, you lose some. Yarg, ye play with fire, and sometimes ye get burned.
Sometimes?
You and I will be making music together for a long, long time. You hear that? It's the sweet, sweet sound of your eternal silence. Hey, keep it down, would ya? When I'm here, you play by my rules. A song was requested of me, and now I sing it.
Looks like something bad happened. I
Oh,
guess you
not
forgot
you.
about me.
I hate
Want
you.
to see the scooping room?
No.
I guess you forgot about me.
Yes, and I wanted
Time
to.
for your controlled shock.
Oh
Time for
gosh,
your
your
controlled
strat
shock.
counterpart.
Let's see how many pieces I can cut you into.
Oh hell no.
You won't die, but you'll wish you could.
Burn it with fire.
It will all be over soon. There is room for one more.
Is that a reference to the one of the books?
Come spend eternity inside with me.
How's that even possible?
I've been looking for you, and now I will never let you go.
Because William's like an adult, isn't he? Although, yeah, and plus you're animatronic, not a Springlock suit, I don't think. Is Lefty a Springlock suit?
I always come back.
I know you do, buddy. Alright. Anyways, guys enjoyed this this I have so far. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video and or live stream. Peace.